By golly, we are now serving Dwarf Underground from a React app. But it is one big fat component, which kind of defeats the purpose. So let's see. How would you break this up? How about we make the big header at the top a component? How about we make this article a component? What else could be a component here? The ad on the side seems legit. The clickbait. This entire clickbait section could be a component. What about each individual clickbait link?
Could you have like a whole big clickbait thing, and that goes in and then calls a component for each individual clickbait thing?
Absolutely. We could have a component for the entire clickbait section, and then that could include components for each of the 4 things. We might even be able to reuse a single component for each of the 4 things, because they're 4 very similar things, just like we did the LI and React Robats. All right, let's do one together. Okay, looks like this still isn't indented quite right. Let me fix some of my indentation here. You cusser. Oh my gosh. All right, well, I fixed a little bit of the indentation. Good enough for right now. So everything from here to here, which is my line 8 through 23, this is all the header looks like. So I'm going to extract that into its own component. So to do that, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to make sure I create it inside my source directory. That's where all my JavaScript needs to go. You could have subfolders in there, but all that stuff needs to go in there because that's the stuff that's going to actually get run through Babel and turned into real JavaScript. So I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it capital H header.js. And one thing I'm going to have to do every time at the top of my components is import React from React. And I could also say import React, comma, component if I want to. Difference is it saves me from having to write React.component. Then I'm going to make a class with the name of my component, which is header. That's going to have to inherit from or extend component. It's going to have a render function, a render method, every time. And then the next thing I like to do, because I will forget otherwise, is go to the bottom of the page right then and say export default and the name of my component. Otherwise, I'll forget to do that at the end. And we know the render method then needs to return some JSX. So I'll say return parentheses, and then that's where my JSX goes. And I'll copy that out of app.js. So I've got my lines 8 through 23 here highlighted, and we'll cut those out and put them inside header.js. Fix my indentation. And that seems legit. So if I save app now, the header will just be gone. So I need to replace it with that other component, right? Before I can do that, I have to import it. It doesn't know what header is. So what I want to be able to do is just say header like that, capitalized, because that's the name of the class, and just include my component. But if I do that right now, it's going to explode, and say header is not defined. But I can import it. So I'll do that at the top. I like to put a line break between things that are imported from node modules and things that are imported from my own files. So I'll put a line break there. The CSS, that's our own file. So after that, I will say import header from, and then the path to that file. So it's in the current directory, so I start it with /header. I don't need to put header.js. If you're importing a file in JS, it assumes JS. If you don't say otherwise. So import header from header, and then I can just use the header component in JSX like this. In JSX, it's weird. So if you actually use your keyboard shortcut for commenting, which is command /, it'll do it for you, and you'll see what it is. So you put the curly braces to put a JavaScript expression in, and then you use a C-style comment in there. Yeah, pretty kind of weird. So the answer is use your text editor's commenting keyboard shortcut. Yeah, kind of weird. You cannot do HTML comments. Cool. So what did I just do? Extract header component. And if I wanted to be really hip, I could pull the CSS out too. It's not going to make any difference, but it'll organize our code a little better, and it's good practice. So let's do that next.